Anne Murray, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's nice to see you in real life.
Yeah. Yes, we've spoken on the phone a few times.
Yeah.
But you're much taller than I thought you were.
Good. That's what you want. The opposite is the problem, you know what I mean? Congratulations on these new songs, new album. I wasn't expecting it.
Neither was I.
Tell me the story.
Well, it's a long story, actually, but there's a young man who's been a fan of mine since he was 10 years old. He was born and grew up in Las Vegas. And when he was 15, he came to see me in Las Vegas. And he'd been a fan ever since. And when he heard, and I've seen him in other venues as well. And when he heard that I had given all of my archival material to the University of Toronto, he flew up from Las Vegas and he found a box of cassette tapes that were mine personally, that I brought home from the studio. And they were always outtakes. A vinyl would only hold 10 songs, and so we quite often overcut, so we'd have extras. So he started looking through them, and he knew every song that I had ever recorded. So he knew that these had never been released. So he listened to them in a little tiny cassette machine that he had, and he went, wow, these sound pretty good. Anyway, 2 years later, they digitized them. He got in touch with them. He flew back up there and listened to them on Real Studio. Still, they're only cassettes. And then the record company told him, somehow he asked the record company, and they said, well, Capitol Records gave all their archives to the University of Calgary. So University of Calgary had all the masters of everything I ever did.
All the masters, all the original tracks.
Everything was on there.
Yeah.
And so he flew to Calgary, and he got those. And he started back about 6 years ago asking if we could have a listening party for all of these songs that he found. And I'm going, oh, no, those couldn't have been any good. Those couldn't be any good. I didn't put them on my album. Well, then we started to listen. Well, there were good songs there.
Yeah.
And so it all has to do, I mean, he started it all. Lynn Holt is the guy who started this whole thing. And here I am, almost 80 years old, with a new album. Go figure.
I never thought we'd hear it again. I thought we'd never talk about new music from you ever again.
Well,
I think you said to me, we'll never talk about new music from me ever again.
I know.
Can you put me in the room of when you finally sat in the room and listened to these old songs and heard them again?
What I did was I went through them all myself, and I thought, no, the majority of them, I would say there were about 45 songs. I went through them all. I thought 11 are good enough. And I thought, these are really good.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of real gems on there. How they missed the cut, I will never know.
Is it like watching a home movie? Like, when you're watching an old movie and you feel, you start to feel, oh, I remember back then, and I remember, I remember that day. Did you have any of that?
Well, no, because most of the songs, I have to be quite honest, I didn't remember recording.
Oh, interesting.
There were times, I had a contract with Capitol Records that was ridiculous. 1 year, I had to record, because of my contract, I had to record as many as 3 albums in 1 year. Get out of here. Well, I did. And
3 albums in 1 year?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I had been pregnant and I had taken time off and I missed doing one of the albums, so I had to catch up, and it was a ridiculous contract. But anyway. A lot of songs went by the wayside, and we now have them and are putting them on a new album.
I love that you were saying, even now, with a bit of remove from your old music life, you still had the discernment to go, that one's not good enough.
Yes.
That one's good enough.
But see, I've always prided myself on being able to pick a good song.
Yeah.
And I know the difference between a song that's well crafted and one that isn't. And so I just went by instinct. that's how all of this started, you know. And then of course Bruce Allen my manager gets wind of it, and he says, "Oh, maybe we can put these into some kind of shape." And so he gets in touch with Bob Rock and says, "Bob, would you be interested in taking some of these songs and you know, doing some tweaking and mixing and so on?" And he said yes. And then yeah, that'd be fun. Mm-hmm. And so we spent the whole summer doing, you know, little bits and pieces and mixing. And Adam Greenholtz was his engineer, was in Calgary. So we had this thing going, and Bob was in Hawaii, and I was in Nova Scotia.
Pugwash.
Pugwash. And so we had this thing going, and it was so much fun to be back into it, you know?
I hear you. I hope you don't mind me saying, I'm a bit surprised you didn't say, "I know I don't want to do it."
Oh no, they were too good. The songs were too good. I'm ashamed to say I let them go the first time. But no, they were good. And then I got the chance to, because we had background vocals to put on, I had some guitar parts to put on. I just happened to be in Pugwash, have a fine guitar player. My nephew, Dale Murray, is a great guitar player. My daughter happened to be there. So let's all go in the studio. Dale has a studio.
Yeah.
Right 15 minutes from my place. And so we all went into the studio. It was like a family affair.
Well, let's talk about that. One of my favorite tracks on the record is "Bring All Your Heartaches to Me," which is a great old country song.
Yeah, it is. I've always been a sucker for a 3/4 waltz anyway.
Yeah, beautiful old song, like real old-fashioned, great song.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it afterwards, and I saw that your daughter Dawn was singing backups on it.
Yeah, she sang background.
And then I saw that Dale, you know, who I've known for years now, you know, playing steel and playing guitar and all that stuff as well. And I went on Dale's Facebook right before I came in here, and I saw from, I think, 5 months ago, a photo of you and Don and Dale in the studio together. What did it mean to you to have Don and Dale on that song?
Well, it was such a high to be there. Dale at the controls, and, you know, he played some solos, and Don sang, and we did one tune where he says to me, and Don says, "Mom, come out and sing, come on." And I'm going, "Oh God, I'm so rusty. I can't sing." So anyway, we had to get a stool so I could stand on it, and I was across the microphone from Dawn to make me as tall as she is.
Yeah.
And I sang background with her, and so it was so much fun to do.
But Anne, I remember talking to you. I think it was not the last time, but the time before, and you said to me, "I don't sing at all anymore."
No, I don't.
You told me I don't sing "Happy Birthday." When someone wheels out the cake, you're mouthing. You're not even singing that.
Oh no, I do sing "Happy Birthday."
Oh, maybe that you said that was the only thing you sang.
Well, I just sang for you a minute ago before we went on air.
But you told me you don't. Back then you said I don't sing at all anymore.
Well, I don't sing much, but sometimes you sing and you don't even know you're doing it.
But singing in front of a microphone, something.
No, I haven't done it in public.
Have you been in this? When was the last time you were in a studio singing?
No, nor have I been in the studio. But they convinced me.
How did it feel?
Oh, it was fun. It's like, what is it, falling off a horse or whatever? No, getting back on the horse or whatever.
I hear you, but I'm delighted, but a little surprised by it all. Because people used to talk to me about the conversation that we had before, and they used to come up to me at Shoppers or something like that, and they'd say to me, "Geez, I heard you're, you know, talking to Anne," and I said, "Oh yeah," and they said, "Geez, she never sings, you know, she put it all behind her. There's no more singing, you know, she's playing golf, she's playing tennis, she's hanging out, she's enjoying her life."
I kind of got sung out. You know, towards the end, I was working so hard, and I was in my 60s, and it's harder to be on the road and perform every night and have your voice do what you want it to do, because it doesn't work like that. It's okay if you can work one night, take a night off, work another night, but I couldn't do that.
You just got physically exhausted.
Physically, it was too difficult, too hard on the voice at that age. And I was a workhorse.
Yeah. You were on the road for a long time.
I was, yeah.
And the concerts, I was looking at, before I left it, the concerts you were doing were long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You weren't getting up for 45 minutes. You were doing big, long shows.
I did, yeah. But I mean, it was fine, but it was time to stop.
Yeah.
And what was great about it was that I stopped and I could still sing really well.
Yeah.
And I went, wow, that was good you did that. And I've said it for 17 years. I've been retired.
Yeah. So you stand up on the stool to be as tall as your daughter.
I stood up on the stool.
And you open your mouth.
And I did.
And what?
It came out. I was singing in tune. The thing is, I had to take one headphone off because I couldn't tell what I was singing and what Dawn was singing because our voices are so similar that I didn't know who was singing what. So I couldn't tell whether I was singing in tune or not. And I guess I was, because when I listen back, it sounds fine.
I loved the Bryan Adams tune as well. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah. Well, that's the one they got me to sing on.
Oh, that's the one you sing on.
Yeah, Straight from the Heart. Yeah.
Is that lead vocal your...
No, my lead vocal. The lead vocals were already there.
From I think that's 83?
83 or 84.
83, I think, yeah.
All the songs are between 1978 and 1996.
Yeah.
So about 18 years they cover.
I know that song from Bryan doing it.
Oh yeah, well, and there've been lots of covers, but it was one of those things that, well, maybe we won't do that because it's a cover. And sometimes you had lots of songs. That was for, a Little Good News album, and there were lots of good songs on that, so we just put that song aside. But it's a really good track. It's a good track to listen to, even now.
It's a rock Anne Murray song, is what it is.
But I did a few of those that people had never heard.
I don't think I was as familiar with them, you know?
No. Some of the early albums I did with Brian Ahern were definitely more rocky. And even the one those ones towards the end with Jim Ed Norman were, a little Good News, a little tougher, and that's what I wanted to do. But I wanted to try a little bit of everything,
I loved I Lost My Dog, Lost My Dog.
Oh, yeah.
That came from your orchestra leader in Vegas?
Well, Al Gambino was the orchestra leader at the Aladdin Hotel, which was the first hotel I played in Las Vegas. And he was the orchestra leader. And then when I moved over to the Riviera, he came over one time and he brought me a couple of songs. And that was one of the songs. And it kind of touched me.
Yeah.
And so I said, wow, this would be perfect.
It said in the notes that he's only been known for, up until that, he had only written one other song, and it was a parody of Sometimes When We Touch.
Yes.
Do you remember what that was?
I don't remember exactly what it was.
But you're not going to say it?
But I'm not I'm not going to sing it.
You know what? I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't.
It was a little,
A little blue.
A little blue, yes.
Back then, I want to go back to what you were saying before that. You said, I've always had a knack for knowing a good song.
Yes.
But I want to know a bit more about that. Back then, when people were bringing you songs, what were you looking for? What were you listening for? Can you give me an example of something you were listening for?
So much of it is instinct, Tom. I just instinctively kind of knew a good song. My father used to read a lot of poetry to us, and to me in particular, and I was a great lover of the Romantic poets, and I just loved that kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe it was the lyric, but quite often the music, it was a combination. I think when I first started, it was the music I listened to more than the words. But as I got older, of course, you get into the emotion of songs and the lyrics a little more. Yeah.
Were you listening for this is going to do well? Or were you listening for I like it? Or I want to sing it? Like, were you listening for this is going to sell a lot of records?
No, never. It was always about, is it a good enough song for this album? And there are some songs you know immediately. You Needed Me, for instance.
Yeah.
When the first time I heard that, I didn't pay any attention to it because I was listening to so many songs. I was looking for songs for an album. I listened and listened and listened. And I must have listened to it at the end because but I knew it was good enough that I put it in another box. When I went back and revisited it, I really had to sit down. I couldn't believe that I hadn't just grabbed it. And of course, then I knew, immediately. And when I recorded that song,
Yeah.
I didn't know who would listen to it or what, but to a musician,
Yeah.
they felt the magic.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song, even
Yeah,
now.
it is.
Yeah, same with Gene, with Snowbird. Like, when that came to you, did you know right away?
Well, the thing is, I didn't know anything then.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things I recorded.
Well, that's what I'm curious
early
about.
on.
Like, what I'm curious about is, like, you sort of gained this knowledge as time went on, but, like, I don't actually know the story. When Gene, I guess, he must have played it for you himself.
No, he didn't play Snowbird. He had it on a little tape.
He had made a
He
recording
had
of it.
already made a recording. It was on a little cassette tape.
Yeah.
And he played it for me.
Yeah.
And he said, and I can't remember, I don't know if Put Your Hand in the Hand might have been on there, I'm not sure. Or anyway, he gave me a few songs.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe he was giving them to me. And so what I did, I took them home and I was playing them on the guitar and singing all summer. And my family got all excited about these songs, Just Biding My Time and Snowbird. And they went, boy, those are really good songs. And I had them and no one had ever heard them. Imagine.
Yeah, that's wild.
I know.
Wild, wild, wild. But I think even then you must have had a sense of...
I did.
Yeah.
I think I did too. And so did my family, I guess, because they all said, wow, these are good, really good songs.
Would you have had people, like in my mind, songwriters, if they got one to you, they had a pretty good chance of having a life or having a hit or, or being on a best-selling record. I mean, your records were selling so much back then.
They were, yes.
You were selling a ton of records. I'm trying not to be, this is a very East Coast thing, but I'm trying not to be gauche about it. A songwriter could live comfortably if you recorded one of their songs.
Yeah.
Did you have many people, were people at you all the time to record their songs? Were people stopping you just to record their songs?
Oh, I
Really?
got thousands and thousands, but tapes. Mostly.
People were handing you tapes.
Handing me tapes, sending me tapes in the mail to my office. And we'd go through hundreds and hundreds of tapes.
No one was at the mall going, now, Ann, listen to this now. You got to
No, I don't recall anybody doing that.
Well, they missed out, didn't they?
Yeah. One of the things that Randy Goodrum, who wrote You Needed Me,
Yeah.
I remember him, well, I still talk to him from time to time. It bought him the biggest, was it Bosendorfer piano?
Yeah.
And he said, that was, he couldn't believe that he ended up with a Bosendorfer. He was a piano player.
That must have been such a strange thing to feel for you, to know that if you chose a song, you could change someone's life.
Of course, you don't think about that.
Of course you didn't, but it is a thing, you know?
Well, it is. I know when you think back on it, yes. Yes, it is.
I would have been corrupt. I would have been going around the mall saying, I'll record that now, Yeah. Just give me the Bosendorfer. I want to talk about the Junos a little bit.
Okay.
You're of course, we're talking to you. You're here mainly because you're getting the Lifetime Achievement Award tomorrow night at the Junos. But I was looking at it. You were at the very first Juno Awards in 1971.
Yeah.
You won your first Juno for top female vocalist that night, which is a hilarious category name, top female vocalist.
Top, yeah.
Bring me back to that first Junos Awards. What do you remember from that night?
Well, it's a vague memory. It seems to me that I wasn't feeling well. And I remember going up there with Brian Ahern, who produced the album, and I didn't feel well at all.
You were under the weather.
Yeah, I don't have, but I was so tired, Tom. I was being pushed from pillar to post. I didn't know what hit me when Snowbird became a hit, and then I was all over the place.
What do you mean? You were just on the road a lot?
Well, I was doing television. I remember working in a club in Vancouver. What was it called? The Cave.
Yeah.
And they sent a plane up to get me to go do the Grammys, and then I had to come back to do the shows the next night. And like that's the kind of thing that was happening to me. I was being flown, and of course I said yes to everything.
Yeah.
But by the end of that 71, I was exhausted.
You've been, of course you were. You've been on the road essentially since you were a youngster.
Yeah,
like you were, you know?
it was, those early years were very tough.
Yeah. And then, so the Junos, which we have a vague memory of, you were feeling a bit tired, a bit exhausted.
Yeah, yes.
Was it meaningful that you had won the award? Was it meaningful that you?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, awards are always, it was so early in the Juno's life.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, right? You know?
But still, you were being recognized.
Yeah.
It was almost like a head shaker. You go, oh, okay, because it was just the beginning stages of the whole Canadian music scene. You know, like there was nothing happening for years, and then it started to happen. It all started to fall into place.
That's a note I wrote down. Like, what was the Canadian music scene like back then?
Well, it wasn't.
Right.
There wasn't one, really, because everybody had to move.
Right.
I mean, you think of Joni Mitchell and Neil Young and Paul Anka, a lot of those people had to move where they could, I don't know, develop a career and...
Yeah, better opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, with Joni and Neil, there were people doing it in California and working all the time on writing, and it's a real community thing, and to be part of that must have been very exciting.
Had you felt the temptation to do that too, and to go to LA and go to New York and all that?
No, I was too scared. I received a lot of pressure.
Did you?
Early on, yes, in my career to move to LA, because I had the same manager for a while that Glenn Campbell had. And he said, well, you have to move here because we can't do things out of Canada and all of that. And I just said no.
Why? Why did you say no?
Well, I needed some place to get away from it. I mean, Hollywood, to me, was so foreign. Las Vegas was so foreign to me. I couldn't relate to it at all. And I just had to get away from it. It was okay to go do it and get paid really well.
Yeah.
But I want to go home. And home wasn't New York or Los Angeles, I can tell you.
Yeah.
So I came home, and I ran my career out of Canada.
I bet that was an unpopular decision.
At the time it was with management.
Yeah.
But I did it for my self-preservation.
Did you feel like a Canadian artist out on the road? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'll just make that as broad as I can. Like, whatever that might mean. Like, did you feel like a Canadian? Did you feel amongst the other acts you were playing with, or, you know?
No, I felt like they were my peers.
Yeah.
I was from Canada, and I made it very clear that I was from Canada, and that we're good too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. I mean, every audience I ever played to knew where I was from.
Yeah, fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm always wondering whether there's like something, and maybe this is not something that you can have perspective on, but only other people can have perspective on around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm always very interested in like, what of the Nova Scotianness was in you when you were in Vegas, and, you know, when you had every hit record? Like, what of the Canadianness was in you when you were doing all that?
I mean,
that,
Las Vegas is really an unreal situation. I mean, I had to do 2 shows a night, and I had a calendar, and after the first show was over, I would cross a line through it. I hated it so much.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Have you ever done 2 shows a night with 3 hours in between them?
Oh, the duration. I thought you meant the city. I thought you meant Vegas.
Well, no, but the whole feel of being there. What could be farther from life in Newfoundland than going to Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And what could be farther from
Pugwash.
or Spring Hill, Nova Scotia than Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Well, the world is much smaller now than it was at that time.
Yeah.
but it was really hard to get acclimatized to
Yeah.
being there, to doing a show,
Yeah.
having to wait 3 hours
Yeah.
and do another show until the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and with 2 babies back at the hotel,
Yeah.
it was tough going,
I got great admiration for you that you stopped. Like,
Yeah,
because I know
it was the right thing to do, Tom.
Yeah, people give you. I know because all people want is for it to keep going forever. You
Well,
know.
some
and-
people do,
you
yeah,
know, and-
but people are very understanding.
Yeah.
And I've had time for family and doing things that I sometimes couldn't do.
Yeah, I got an admiration for you for stopping.
Thank you.
It's not an easy thing to do in this industry. It doesn't. This industry doesn't reward stopping. You know.
No,
Yeah.
it's hard work.
Yeah, it doesn't reward looking after yourself. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. This is a weird pivot. What happened with the Family Guy episode? So I was told someone I was talking to in my office, and they said you must ask her about. There was an episode of Family Guy, so I went and watched it, where one of the characters, Stewie, is so like moved by Snowbird that they track you down.
Yeah.
And then they find out that you didn't write it, that Gene McClellan wrote it, and then they hold you hostage.
Oh yeah.
And
they
I
were
remember
really-
thinking,
they were really mad.
I remember thinking, oh, how does Anne feel about that? That some actor went in and I looked, I was like, no, Anne's in it. Anne did the voices.
I was in a studio in Toronto, and they were in a studio in New York, and we did the whole thing on the phone. It was great.
What did they do? Did they call you and say, hey, we got this episode? Tell me the story.
Well, they just called and said, would you do it? And I went, yes, of course I will. But my kids went, uh-oh, Mom, they're going to tear a strip off you. You better watch it. And I went, what the heck? So we did it. It was lots of fun. And it's funny because the royalties spiked after that, because that's one of the most popular shows in the world.
Yeah.
And but royalties spiked, and people, became aware. Younger audiences started writing to me, and it was great fun.
I had written down here, did you need any convincing? But it doesn't sound like
Oh
it.
no! I love to do things like that.
You're not precious about any of it.
Oh no, that was all up to me.
God love you. I'll go out on saying this. I'm so excited about this record. 80, you said you're turning this year.
Yes.
Geez, Anne, well, happy early birthday and all
Well,
that.
thank you.
I mean, is there a feeling associated with that, about to turn 80, or?
No, I don't really think about it. It doesn't really matter. I have a new album coming out.
Yeah.
What the heck does it matter how old you are?
I know. I wouldn't. You don't strike me as the kind of person to think about it too much at all.
No,
you
I
know?
don't.
This is the last question. It goes without saying now, and you're going to have to sit through this. I'm sorry. That you're one of the most important Canadian artists of our time, and you've been enjoying a well-earned stoppage after a lifetime of performing and singing. But what are the emotions that you're feeling knowing that there's new Anne Murray music coming out?
It's so exciting. I can't tell you, but it's one of the highlights of my whole career, really. When you think about it, I was in the studio with my nephew and my daughter doing an album that I never thought was ever there.
Yeah.
And before that, I said that one of probably the highlight of my career was doing my last album, which was the duets album that I did, and singing with my 2 kids. Both my son Will and my daughter Dawn sang with me on that album, did background vocals, and it was a highlight. So great, because they're both good singers.
Yeah, yeah. And now you get to do this?
Now I get to do this.
Do you hear your own music at Shoppers ever when you're walking down the aisle in Nova Scotia?
Oh, yeah.
How are you with it?
Fine.
Yeah? You hum along?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Dawn and I were in, where were we? In Florida.
Yeah.
In a store.
Yeah.
Kenny Loggins comes on in the Macy's.
Yeah.
In the speakers. And he was singing Danny's song.
Yeah.
So Dawn and I started singing along. We went into the washroom, and we were singing harmony parts, all in each in our own stall, along with Kenny Loggins. And I heard this woman say, "Wow," some other woman in the stall. heard us singing. It was very cute.
She's good. She should go professional.
Oh my gosh! Listen to that.
And congratulations on the new record. I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited that the reissues are coming out too. I'm so excited that we got to hang out and
Thank
chat
you
in person
very
and
much,
about the Juno
Tom.
and everything. Thanks for making the time for us.
Thank you.
God love you.